Excellent. Well, I will make a start. So, good afternoon, given the time difference, everyone. My name is Dr. James Abdi. I'm a lecturer in statistics at the LSE. I'm also the course convener for the new Data Science and Business Analytics degree program. Apologies, I can't be there in person today at the open house event, but in this session, I'd like to give a bit of an overview about the relationship between HSE, LSE and the University of London, as well as a broad overview of the data science degree in particular and why students should consider pursuing it. So I prepared a short presentation, so it comes in two parts. I'll begin with the relationship between all of the parties of HSE, LSE and GOL, and then touch briefly on the data science component. So hopefully you will see a slide on the screen in front of you. So what students or potential students have the opportunity to sign up to are these University of London degrees with academic direction from the LSE. So I like to begin by demystifying what some of these terms mean. Nonetheless, the founding principles of the University of London distance form of education is founded on the premise of providing worldwide access to high quality undergraduate education through the University of London, regardless of any geographical constraints. So we have students in pretty much all countries around the world pursuing one of our degree programs. And by providing worldwide access, it gives students the opportunity to tap into this high quality higher education, which will put them in a very strong position as and when they proceed to the job market, but potentially also for following on to postgraduate studies, for example, a master's degree. And very importantly is the international reputation of these programs. Do appreciate that all degrees are not equal, and what's very important when deciding on degree programs is the reputation of the degree awarding body, because these vary a great deal from one university to another. So a little bit of history about the University of London itself. So one of the oldest universities in the UK, only Oxford and Cambridge are themselves older, goes back to 1836. Now this may sound a little old-fashioned in the modern world, but the University of London indeed was the first university to award degrees regardless of race, creed, gender or political belief. And at the time, that was a very revolutionary thing. Previous to that, in the UK, you could only pursue a degree if you were a man. Now, as far as the being a distance learning provider is concerned, indeed we are the world's oldest. We've been going for over 150 years. And to go back to that theme of international reputation, well, a reputation takes time to build up and develop. And we've had over 150 years to achieve this. So what is the University of London? Well, clearly based in London, but think of it as like an umbrella organisation which has constituent colleges. So many of the names here you may be familiar with, of course the LSE, also UCL, University College London, King's College, Royal Holloway, Birkbeck, and among others. So all of these colleges are members of the University of London structure. Now, of course, today I'm here to speak specifically on the LSE. So how long have we been going? Well, we were founded in 1895. These were our founding fathers and I guess mother as well. And like most universities, we have a coat of arms, our branding, if you will, and attached to it is a motto. And our motto is in Latin, rerum cognoscere causas, the translation of which is to understand the causes of things. And this is very much at the heart of what LSE was founded to do and what we continue to do to this day. Now, when we talk about things, what things might these be? Well, LSE focuses on the social sciences. So we are one of the world's leading universities in terms of economics, management, finance, of course, mathematics and statistics too. So the things tend to be more in the social science field. A student can't come to the LSE to pursue studies, let's say, in biology or chemistry. Now, this word understand. Now, do appreciate that a university education is very different from what students are used to at school. University is all about encouraging students to think and ultimately to understand the world around them. In particular, the what variables drive or cause other variables. And if we have a deep understanding of these matters, this will allow us to make better informed decisions. Now, those decisions might be in a business, commercial context, it could be in academic research, it could even be in a public policy-making environment. Indeed, I think in the years ahead, we will see much more evidence-based decision-making in the public sector. So, what is the relationship specifically between LSE, the University of London, and subsequently LSE too? So, as a member institution, we provide so-called academic direction to these programs. That means content students study at HSE as well as in other parts of the world too. All of these learning materials are developed, written, and designed by academics at the LSE, myself included, but also many of my colleagues. And we place great emphasis on parity between what is taught internally at the LSE as well as what is delivered globally through our EMFSS programs. Now, we love acronyms in higher education. So EMFSS stands for Economics, Management, Finance, and the Social Sciences. So it's a sort of broad collective term for all of the disciplines which students can study at the LSE and through UOL itself. As for student numbers, at the moment we have about just over 20,000 students studying around the world. Now, to put that into perspective, on campus at the LSE itself, at the undergraduate level, we have around 5,000 students, and they cover all 3 years of the undergraduate degree. We are very much a small campus, and as such, we are capacity constrained, such that we are unable to accommodate 21,000 students on campus. Indeed, we are one of the most competitive universities in which to gain entry at undergraduate level. The usual statistic I like to quote is that there tend to be, on average, 12 applicants for every one undergraduate place. Now, each of those 12 applicants is likely to be a very high achieving student at school and no doubt has the academic potential to succeed at the LSE. It's just that we do not have the physical space to accommodate them all. And hence, to provide that sense of worldwide access to our education, this is why our University of London programs provide opportunities for students the world over, in particular there in Moscow, to follow an LSE-designed program. So, to reiterate, and these are very important points which underlie the international reputation of our degrees, is that the curriculum for each individual module, as well as all of the degrees we offer, are all designed by LSE academics. They follow the same courses which are taught on campus at the LSE. And as assessment is concerned, the examinations which students sit, those actual exam questions are written by the same LSE academics. Same standard as we examine our students internally, and we are also involved with the marking of those scripts. So, as far as the examination process is concerned, all examinations are conducted usually at the British Council offices or some verified independent setting, such that there is no potential for any cheating or wrongdoing in the examinations themselves. So students get the benefit of an LSE designed education without having the expense of living in London. They study at HSE. They will sit their examinations there in Moscow. These exams take place usually over the May-June period. There is one sitting of examinations each year. And not only do the LSE academics set question papers, they also mark those scripts too. I mentioned earlier that all degrees are not equal, and clearly having a strong quality control mechanism in place for the examination process is an essential feature which underlies the reputation of the award. So, just to go back a second, lost my slide. Okay, so the quality control of that examination process is essential. The results are all approved by the University of London itself and then subsequently released to students. So just as a little example about understanding the causes of things, I'm not sure if you recognize this lady, but this is Queen Elizabeth II, and we at LSE got her to officially open one of our academic buildings on campus. Now, this was done back in 2008, which was just as the global financial crisis was erupting. And Lehman Brothers Investment Bank went bankrupt, and there were fears of contagion, and there'll be further bankruptcies of other financial institutions. And the Queen, when she came to open this building, and this was in November 2008, asked a question, a very simple question about why did none of these so-called experts see the financial crisis coming. Now, this was a very insightful question, I guess, on the minds of many ordinary people around the world. And typically, the great and the good of the LSE, the top professors in economics, finance, and other areas at the time, could not give Her Majesty an answer immediately. They ummed and they convened a special conference, and several months later, they basically came up with an answer that the reason it wasn't really foreseen was that the world is extremely complex. And therein lies the rationale for the LSE to exist, in that in 2018, I'd like to think we have a much better understanding of the world around us than we did in 1895. However, there's still an awful lot which is not known, and so LSE's work is not complete, indeed arguably will never be completed. So what our academics do all day long is to indeed research the world and develop a better understanding of the causes of things. Now, how would that affect students there in Moscow? Well, all of our research feeds in to our teaching at the LSE, and by extension to the teaching through the University of London programs. So this is very much cutting edge knowledge students will be getting in their studies. So LSE, why is it a special university? Well, many factors, many reasons we could give. A poll was done some time ago, and a rank ordering of those key factors. And number one was critical engagement with real-world problems. So academia more generally can sometimes come in criticism as being somewhat detached from reality. Students learn things, they learn theories, they learn a lot of things in an abstract setting. Well, LSE like to stand out in a crowd in this respect and can care very much about real-world problems, be it our financial crisis, uh, be it um, climate change, be it a variety of areas, and we care about having a deeper understanding of these problems and ultimately offering solutions, recommendations, be it in a policy setting in the public sector, or maybe commercial recommendations for business-oriented problems. Of course, it's not just the engagement with real-world problems on campus itself. We have indeed a central London location, but our staff, our students, our alumni are very well regarded the world over. So I said all degrees are not equal. Now let's imagine a student signs up for a UOL degree at HSE, be it in data science and business analytics or another program. Now they go to the lectures, the classes, they sit their examinations. What do they get at the end of it? And ultimately, it is a degree certificate, a sample as placed on the screen there. So I said all degrees are not equal, and a key variable in the decision-making process about which university to go to must be the reputation of the degree awarding body. So as you can see with the sample certificate on screen, the degree will be awarded by the University of London, which remember is this umbrella organisation, which the LSE is a member college, and it will say on the certificate how the student passed the approved examinations conducted by the LSE. The degree classification, the degree name, and our Vice Chancellor's signature will appear. And frankly, this piece of paper, or I think it's actually card that they give you, this is your passport to success, because this piece of paper will be well regarded the world over. Because I'm biased, but I'd like to think right in that the UK has the world's best undergraduate education system. The US, for example, generally provides you breadth of education. There's no depth of education. They don't really teach students to understand the world around them. In the UK system, and particularly the LSE-led University of London degrees, that's very much at the core. So why are those UOL degrees in particular so special? Well, I mentioned that the world is a highly complex place, why very few people foresaw the global financial crisis. So we try and teach our students to work out the big picture. Now, particularly in the data science field, in the era of big data in which we now live, we are overwhelmed with data. There's no shortage of data to analyze. However, it's important to decide what's important, to filter out the signal from the noise. So particularly in the data science and business analytics degree, that's a key theme underlying it. But also in our other courses in economics, management, finance, etc., it's indeed for students to figure out the big picture and the key issues at stake. Skills. We hear about skill deficits in the job market. So what kinds of skills will be developed in our students? Now, I'm not saying these are necessarily equally weighted, but these will feature throughout our degree programs. Clearly, the ability to read. Now, that also includes skim reading. Being able to digest a large amount of information very quickly and be able to determine what the most important bits are. Listening skills, speaking skills. Indeed, in the data science degree, there are a couple of courses with coursework components. which will allow students to develop their communication skills as though they are speaking to an audience through the written reports that they make. But a very key skill in the quantitative courses is that of analysis. And to conduct analysis, we often make use of models. So I don't want to bore you with equations in this presentation, but let's consider more of a graphical model. If any of you have visited London before, and if you haven't, please do come. You may be familiar with the London Underground or Metro map. Now, I guess Moscow has a very similar system, similar map there. But just to give a sense of how models can compare. So we want to focus on the big picture of any issue, and with regards to the underground system, we do want to focus on the big picture of being able to get from point A to point B. And arguably, this map is very good at achieving that objective. However, any model is a deliberate simplification of reality, such that it doesn't take into account all features of the real world. And in the second map, this is geographically accurate and actually shows the true distance between points. Now, just to give some sense about LSE and where we are located, so LSE is located about here in Covent Garden, right between the political world of Westminster, the financial hub of the City of London, and our nearest stations are Temple and Holborn. So from the original map, it would seem to get from Temple to Holborn, it would be quite a long journey, and we would need to interchange many lines. So arguably a pitfall of the famous map is that it fails to take into account the true distance between stations. Geographically accurate, the mean that the way from Temple to Holborn would be too long. So at a very elementary level, the idea of using models will be a key skill developed in students. No model is perfect, but we're able to critique the relative advantages and disadvantages of models. So upon receiving that piece of paper, students have the opportunity to graduate here in Moscow, but also in London too. We have a bit of a royal theme today. Princess Anne, the Queen's daughter, is the Chancellor of the University of London, and she presides at our London graduation ceremonies. So the graduating students have the honour of walking into this part. So that was a little bit on the relationship between University of London, LSE and HSE, and just a few minutes, a brief overview of our data science and business analytics degree program. In particular, the challenges and opportunities which exist. So the idea of simplicity. We saw the London Underground map. It has major benefits of simplicity. Tourists visiting London and use that map to get from point A to point B. Now, this range of data types can sometimes seem a little mystifying. But when I hear the word science, I think of scientists. And a conventional scientist is ultimately trying to tell a story, to explain some features of the world around them. Now, the traditional scientists work in a laboratory, they have their chemicals, they have their Bunsen burners, their apparatus performing experiments. While a data scientist does the same thing, tools of data. So students in the degree will really learn how to analyze that data, but a very important skill is being able to communicate the findings, the discoveries they've made to a wider audience. And Albert Einstein, I think, said it very indeed, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. So there are multiple skills that students develop in the data science program, with the data analytics itself, but also being able to draw out insights and communicate these to the decision makers. Suppose you make a discovery looking at your business data and you make a recommendation to senior management of the company. Are you explaining yourself in simplistic enough terms the decision maker understands what they should do? So storytelling very much like science. So science itself involves exploration, not necessarily face, but one example. So data scientists are trying to explore the data they come across, and whenever we explore, we hope to discover. And this is the restart mode. This is when we get excited. We find some gold nugget or diamond equivalent in our data set. We have a better understanding of the world around us. And from this position, we are able to make good decisions. So, analytics, business analytics, data science, you have to give definitions of these terms. Are they themselves distinct? Well, I think it's perhaps quite a subtle difference between them. At the heart of the program is data-driven decisions. To get away from qualitative decisions, to get away from making decisions based on a gut instinct. So data analytics is really the science. It's to examine data and not just to do some calculations, but ultimately to draw conclusions. And if you have that better understanding of all sorts of things, it will allow you to make better data-driven decisions. Maybe with the objective of maximizing profits, maybe of increasing your market share, maybe increasing brand awareness. You may also have hypotheses or theories, the way you think the world works. Well, sometimes the world is different from what you have anticipated. So data analytics allows us to rigorously and robustly test those hypotheses and theories. Data science is slightly more nuanced. It's to extract the information contained within our data, focus on the big picture, filter out the signals from the noise, and discover patterns, correlations, hidden relationships. So, arguably a subtle difference between analytics and science. However, both are principally involved with making inferences from data. So when we talk about data, what kind of data? Now, given both the degree of science and business analytics, the data students will come across will generally be business data, particularly on customers, their behavior, their consumption of our products, their awareness of our products, perception of our products, maybe investment portfolios, thinking about the risk and return of a personal portfolio or an individual investor, marketing, the awareness, is it giving the right perception of our brand product that we would like, fraud, you name it. So just a few examples, by no means an exhaustive list. So Amazon, for example, any major online retailer, when you land on a page, it will give you recommendations of other products. Customers who bought X also bought Y. And this is a way to increase cross-selling and increase the overall level of sales. Now, to conduct that, you require various analytical techniques, many of which students learn about in a degree. Segmenting your market, segmenting your customers into different types. And if you have a better understanding of your customers, if you can profile them really well, then you can have more products, services, as well as marketing, campaigns, and promotion. Indeed, maybe how your customers interact with your phone. Do they typically visit a store, like a supermarket? Do they engage you through the web or mobile app, in particular with monitoring? And if we can collect data across all of these service channels, analyze it, and develop that better understanding, then we can come to a great deal of promise. Indeed. Today in China is, I believe they call it Singles Day, whereby it's the number 1 commercial day of the year. And Alibaba is predicted to sell about $25 billion worth of products today alone. It's a huge money-making opportunity for Alibaba, not just for the level of sales, but also as a data collection exercise. They're going to be monitoring which products browsers are looking at, which ones are smart, how long they spend on a particular page, among many other variables too. And Alibaba is going to treat this as a huge data collection exercise. They'll mine that data, gain a better understanding of consumers. So challenges are numerous in the data era. Volume. Well, Alibaba is going out to collect trillions of bytes of data today alone. And challenges of how we make sense of all of that, how we can give them a big picture. Data come in many different forms. The actual amount you spend, indeed, how much time people are spending on a particular web page. So data come in different formats, structures, and the reliability of the data is varies a great deal too. So challenges of how we work with that. The sheer speed of data collection and speed of data generation. Fun fact, it's been said in the last 2 years, we have collected more data electronically than in the history of humankind prior to that. So more data collected in the last 2 years than in the rest of human history. Now, if we extrapolate that trend, just think about the rate at which data will be collected. And I would be surprised if any more than 1% of that data is ever truly analysed. So think about all that information which is not yet discovered, effectively buried in a sea of data. Of course, and this potential vanity. If you analyze too much data, everything becomes significant, and you think you've made discoveries, which in fact may be false discoveries. So challenges, yes, but
Hey,
also
can you hear me now? I'm sorry. It looks like we're experiencing some problems with connection, so it's really very difficult to understand you.
hello,
The
sorry,
line.
sorry, I couldn't hear that. Could you repeat?
So probably the first idea, maybe just restart the session.
Yeah, you may try.
Uh,
Reload the page?